भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि शान्तं शाश्वतमप्रमेयमनघं निर्वाणशान्तिप्रदं ब्रह्माशम्भुफणीन्द्रसेव्यमनिशं वेदान्तवेद्यं वन्देऽहं करुणाकरं रघुवरम्.
It is 1941, and a new name is being added to the family business. Although against his father's will, this is his decision. Taking 5:30 a.m. trains from Ahmedabad to Nadiad Mill, 60 kilometers away, standing all the way, nothing deterred him. Working every day of the week, traveling from one city to another, the son of Sri Naveen Chandra and grandson of a man fondly known as Mafatlal Dada, Arvind Mafatlal proved his commitment early on. Arvind Bhai was only 18 years old when he joined the Mafatlal company. But this was not going to stop him from bringing his best to the table. Only 4 years after joining the company, he was to marry Sushila Ben, who played a great role in his growth. Arvind Bhai turned the textile business handed over to him by his grandfather into the conglomerate it is today, with interests ranging from petrochemicals, rubber chemicals, plastics and gas distribution, to information technology and engineering, partnering with some of the best in the world like Royal Dutch Shell and Hext. While he watched his company grow beyond boundaries in one part of the country, there was a devastating famine taking over Ranka, Bihar, and without a second thought, he went there.
Well, first of all, when you are talking about somebody's life, there are various components of a life that you really need to look at. One is his childhood until he becomes adult, and he comes into business, let's say like Mr. Mafatlal, his business career. Then Mr. Mafatlal was in some ways little different from normal businessman in a sense that he was 40, 50 years ago, he was very much involved, or at least emotionally he was very much involved in what you call today the corporate social responsibilities.
It was here that he met Ranjot Das Maharaj, whom he immediately accepted as his guru. Together they worked tirelessly to help as many as possible.
In the 60s, and he was just in his 40s, and in the 1960s, he really rose to among the highest levels of business success. But at the peak of his success, he was feeling extremely lonely, really felt an emptiness when he was 44. And that's when he went to Lanka, he saw the famine and he met his guru. And that, I would say, it really took him to a higher level.
Seeing the hard work that goes into grassroots level efforts did not deter Arvind Bhai. Instead, it inspired him to always look at the human aspect of any situation. His work in Ranka was not a one-off case. It was who he was at his core.
The passion with which he was working for the people there, every day go to the kitchen, supervise the cooking, go and see what the sadhus are, the facilities for them. And we used to go bare feet to serve, and we had blisters because April is a very hot month in Madhya Pradesh. But he would remove his footwear, so we had to do the same. Mm-hmm. He says you can't wear shoes and then serve people.
When he heard about the earthquake in Gujarat, he knew he had to do something. So he took matters into his own hands and hired an architect to rebuild the entire village. And he did all of this at his own cost. It was this generous nature of his that people saw and were drawn to.
मेरा सौभाग्य रहा कि ऋषिकेश भाई के पिताजी जिन्होंने 42 साल तक बाएब का काम किया है, अरविंद भाई के साथ मुझे काम करने का सौभाग्य मिला था। गुजरात में जब अकाल हुआ करता, मैं तो राजनीति में नहीं था तब समय, तो अकाल पीड़ितों की सेवा करता था और मैंने देखा था कि अरविंद भाई स्वयं 40-45 डिग्री टेम्परेचर के बीच गुजरात के आदिवासी गांवों में आते थे और कोई डोनेशन देना चाहता तो लेते नहीं थे। वो कहते थे, आप मेरे साथ आइए, वहाँ कुछ समय बिताइए, उनके साथ काम कीजिए और आपको ठीक लगे तो वहाँ दान दीजिए।
At night he would tell us, now come on, get up. So suddenly in the middle of the night we would get up. Then he would take himself 3-4 blankets on his shoulder, go to these tents where people are sleeping who have come for rural from camp. If it is a winter, normally camps would be in winter. And he himself would give one blanket to everybody. Again walk back to the store.
Wherever somebody didn't have anything to cover, we covered them. And we did this and then came back again to the warehouse, carried 10 more, and we did that right up to 4 o'clock. That was Arvind Bhai. A billionaire in his own right.
He was kind-hearted and generous, and my good friend. I saw India through his eyes and fell in love with this country, recalls Dr. Eric Sattler Dornbacher, a senior technocrat with Hext and a good friend of Arvind Bhai. He set an example for everyone around him. His love was not bound by class, caste, religion or money. Ramanujam, who worked with Arvind Bhai for many years, recalls the time Mother Teresa visited their office in Bombay and how humbly he welcomed her. This showed them that one can be humble, successful, and spiritually inclined.
His core was always the same, very soft. I mean, as a grandfather, as a father, everybody loved him. I don't think you associate the word affection with a chairman. Very rare. I mean, I rarely find. You have respect.
For nearly 35 years, Arvind Bhai was chairman of BAIF, an organization set up in the 60s to promote sustainable livelihood in rural India. When the farmers in Uttar Pradesh were facing decreased yield and low milk productivity, it was Arvind Bhai who went down to the farms to discuss measures to improve production. He did what no one else managed to. He convinced the adamant farmers to use new techniques that they initially refused outright. Such was his passion for innovation, modern technology, and social good. In the early 70s, a severe famine hit parts of Gujarat and Maharashtra, and Arvind Bhai made sure that the people had their fundamental needs met. He used his own factories to make sukhari, a nutritious supplement. This saved lakhs of lives. Even to this day, people fondly recall how his one act of kindness saved their life. To him, his money and status meant something only when he could use it to help someone.
The greatness of a person is estimated by how he or she tolerates provoking situations. So it doesn't talk about net worth, doesn't talk about education, nothing. It was incidentally that he was a businessman. It was incidentally that he was wealthy. I think for him, the most important was his spirituality really existed in seeing that everyone is the same. He never treated anyone differently because he genuinely felt that he is just privileged because he was born there and that is maybe his karma. But he treated that and he believed that very strongly, moment to moment.
Traveling often to rural areas of India, he would meet women that were struggling to survive with the bare minimum. His support of these women went a long way. Over a year after he had visited one of these villages, he found himself face to face with one of these women. Overcome with joy, she fell at his feet and thanked him, saying it was only because of his support that she is now a farmer with a successful cotton farm. He knew change had to come from the ground up, and that is exactly what his life's work shows us.
How you care for people, how you treat your people, the sense of fairness that he had, including with competitors. Very strong sense of fairness. He had a deep sense of how much you give to community, to the society, to others. And it wasn't just signing a check. He would get personally involved. So he combined beautifully his sense of business success, the expanse of his vision. He was always dreaming very long term and always dreamt very big. So he had that passion for business, but that was, I think, subservient to the way he did it. So he was very concerned with the process, and that's why I would say the ethics of excellence fitted, at least as a value for us, to try to achieve what he himself exemplified.
उपस्थित मेरे गुरु भाइयों, माताओं और मेरे प्यारे बच्चे,